3, 2, 1. We are live. Hey, guys, you know who it is. It is your favorite HBCU running the show during the holiday week. I am here with the legendary Johnnie Cole for HBCU Coaches Corner. We have a really, really good show set up for you guys tonight. I'm super excited. We have the head coach, the new head coach from Savannah State University, Coach Johnnie Cole. Once again, those great connections that he has. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm good, Coach. Always, man. You know, this Tuesday night is the night to reach out to HBCU folks as well as just football folks. You know, we got people from all over, man. And, you know, I want to always continue to thank our fans and people who support us. We had 2 million followers last year. We're expecting to double that this year, man. And, you know, as you guys know, we're kind of moving around a little bit. We took the show to the Celebrity Bowl and, you know, we've done our things there, but tonight, man, we got a special guest, defensive extraordinaire. This kid started from what my man say. Started from the bottom. Now I'm here.
There he is.
4-time national championship guy, defensive coordinator, last year's MEAC champ in South Carolina State, defensive coordinator at A&T or Fayetteville State. You know, this guy's an extraordinary defensive guy. I just keep on saying his defenses are always ranked. He's a Morehouse graduate, cum laude at Morehouse. HBCU man. You know how I feel about my HBCU man. And I'm just so proud and glad that we can get him on the show and introduce him to our fans and to the HBCU space that, you know, we know Savannah State got you. I'm giving him away already, Coach. You know how, you know, guys come on this show and then we move to the 1A, and you know how I feel about HBCU career coaches. This is one, Mr. Head Football Coach in Savannah State, Thomas Howard.
Coach, I'm going to bring him up on stage, and you can see that I have a little bit of a problem with my camera, but I will be right back. But let me bring it right on stage.
All right.
Coach Howard, you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Shoot, I'm excited to be on here with you. I'm getting blessed to be on with a legend. And then for you to introduce me the way that you did. Come on now. Huh?
I see a strike.
Everybody all right? Can you hear me?
Coach, can you hear us?
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Okay, there you go, Coach. There you go. You got Coach on. He was just speaking back to you, Coach Howard. Go ahead, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Oh, y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I just can't see him.
You can't see him?
Okay,
I'm here.
Try.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Boy, they man, you look so young, man. I remember they used to say that about me. But man, you head coach, you looking good. Man, we just glad you to come on the show and you know, the show the HBCU space who you heard so many times. Guys like you sneak through. You know, we interviewed Sean Gibbs last year or year before last, was it, Coach? Yeah, it was year before last. And were you on that staff with Coach Gibbs?
I was definitely with Coach Gibbs at A&T. Got a chance to work with Coach Gibbs for 7 years. He left, taking the job at Fort Valley before the 22 season. And so he left and went there. But, yeah, definitely worked with Coach Gibbs. And we had a lot of fun together, winning a lot of championships.
Yeah, you know, they tickle, you know, I tickle folks about, you know, I look for championship coaches, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely a championship coach. That means you know how it feels, you know, the work that needs to be put in, you know how it looks, you know, because if you ain't never experienced that experience, and it ain't always, you know, fruits and you know, apples. It ain't always feel good about winning championships. You know, as you know, and I know, I've been on championship staffs that we really didn't care for each other, but we coached our butt off. I've been on staff that we did care about each other and won championships. So, you know, with your experience and now you're being a head football coach, You've been the head football coach for a couple of days now. How you feeling?
Oh man, I feel great. I think I'm blessed, truly blessed to get this opportunity. A lot of people talk about how, a lot of times the guys like myself that have come up through the HBCU ranks and now getting an opportunity to be a head coach, truly blessed. And so, I've definitely had a journey like a lot of us have, and so glad to get here and to get to do it back in my home state of Georgia. So that is another thing that I'm excited about. And I can't say it without my support system, my family that has been phenomenal for me throughout this time. And then the coaches that I've worked with, you talked about it with championship staffs, man. I've been blessed to work with some championship coaches and, the likes of Rod Broadway and Sam Washington and Buddy Pugh, Connell Maynard, as well as Richard Hayes, just working with some guys and kind of being connected to some other legendary coaches with Bill Hayes that I got a lot of time with this year who would be in practice and hanging out with us. So I've truly been blessed to get to this point and excited to move forward as we get into what we're doing there at Savannah State and trying to get them back to the top of the SIAC.
Man, you just named 4 or 5 top of the line when you talk about football. I'm going to stop using HBCU. When you talk about football, Coach Hayes statue, Broadway championship at North Carolina Central, Gravelin, A&T, Sam Washington. Hell, I've been competing against Sam for, as a defense coordinator, man. We go back and forth, and he's a national championship coach. Chennis Berry, man, you've done it all, Coach. And how you feel? I know you're ecstatic. You got that first head job. You know what I mean? Do you got your plan of action of how you want to do it? And as you talk about how each one of those coaches influence you.
Oh man, I can start with Coach Broadway. Coach Broadway is probably one of the most detail-oriented coaches that I've been around. Very much about fundamentals and techniques, and he did a great job of making sure that everybody on that staff was always prepared and ready for change as it happened. And so took a lot from him. I was a sponge in there just listening and kind of came into the staff, the young guy on the staff that was a new face, and learned so much just from how he handled and worked with the staff and how he prepared us for every week, making sure it was bigger than just, you think about all the big things, but it was down to the minute, small things. And that kind of carried over even as Coach Washington took over as the head coach, and he continued with a lot of those things. And I think with Coach Wash, I learned so much defensively just with how to break teams down, how to in-game adjustments. And those are things that were big. We made a lot of adjustments in games and some big games that we ended up winning that we weren't supposed to, but we knew we were prepared to get it done while I was there at A&T. And then to get the opportunity to go to South Carolina State. My parents both graduated from South Carolina State. So for me, I got a lot of family that graduated from there. So to get a chance to work with Coach Pugh, phenomenal. And just to see his interaction. And the one thing that a lot of people don't know about Coach Pugh, he did a phenomenal job in the community. The people of Orangeburg love Coach Pugh. And that is definitely something to go along with the phenomenal coach that he is. And he's still leading as the athletic director there. It was a lot of things that he gave and allowed me to do and to continue to get better as a football coach, and then I get a chance to, and I threw this name out there, Connell Maynard, who has been around and has done a lot of good things as a coach. He allowed me to do my thing, and he's got a little swag to it as he does it. And so we had a lot of fun there and getting a chance to just interact with him. And then to go to Coach Hayes here recently, I think Coach Richard Hayes has been a phenomenal coach for a long time that a lot of people don't realize. He's won a whole lot of games at Fayetteville State and has done it by his way, quietly just going to work and doing it, in a blue collar way. And so I think this year for me getting in with him, that was big. And then the fact to be able to get, Coach Bill Hayes to come in, who as a young coach, I played for one of Coach Hayes' disciples in college that gave me my first coaching job in Sherman Simmons. And, just to get the opportunity to now hear it from the horse's mouth, all those jingle jangles and things like that I had to run, I know where it came from now. And so working with Coach Maynard and Coach Hayes, Richard Hayes, I got a chance to hear it, and I knew them all because I grew up that way, in coaching. And so I've been blessed, man. This will be season 24 for me, which sounds crazy. But, I was blessed enough with Coach Simmons hiring me right out of college as I finished up at Morehouse. And so now going on this path and going all over the place. And, it's kind of crazy that now I get a chance to come back home and help lead my own program. So I'm really, really excited about that.
When I hear you talk, of course, you've crossed my path as well.
Yes, sir.
You've been to Findlay, up in Findlay, Ohio.
That's right. That's right.
Me and Coach Simmons worked together. That was the first, when you first got the job, that was the first call he made, was to make sure, Coach, that you get this cat on the show. And of course, we've done our homework. Steve Campbell does our stats and make sure that we know what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Man, I had to jump on it right now because this, I hate to, I shouldn't say it. You ain't even coached the game yet, but I see the future. I see your future, man, and because I'm all about career HBCU coaches getting their just due. You're going to Savannah State. You're back home. I guess you've had a couple of things or a couple of times to look at it. I think you are the 28th coach, if I'm not mistaken.
28th coach, yes, sir.
Yeah, meaning they've had a lot of guys do that. I know one thing about Savannah, the city and the town is wonderful.
Yes, yes.
What are some of the things that you know about Savannah State and some of the things that you know that you're going to have to change a little bit?
I know traditionally, I just go back to growing up in the state of Georgia. And when I was coming out of high school, Savannah State was one of the top teams in the SIAC. They were big, they were fast, they had guys going to the NFL. And so it was a very proud program. And like now talking to a lot of the alums and a lot of guys that I grew up with that ended up going to Savannah State and them talking about their pride and how excited they are. I think the big thing that I have to do a great job with those alums is welcome those guys back so that now they feel at home and they can come in and, be proud of their program to start just being able to be around. It's crazy. Maybe a couple years ago when I was down in Orangeburg, it's a nice young lady that I have that I'm actually supposed to be getting married. I'm getting married in April. And this young lady.
Well, don't blow it, Coach. Don't
blow it. Look, oh, man, because she watches. She going to talk bad to me now. But no, we would actually go and we would get away because it's about 2 hours from Orangeburg. And our first getaway was in Savannah. And so we went down and enjoyed the city. The riverfront is beautiful down there. As you go around and you drive through historic Savannah, you see all the trees and all of those things that hang over. So it is a phenomenal city. And it's its own, it's the coast of Georgia and there's a lot of pride that's out there on the coast. And so to be able to be there and go around and see it just from the outside, I was like, man, this is a great place to be. And then driving back, I'm like, man, it would be crazy to get a chance to be the head football coach at Savannah State University, where I'm right here nestled in the great state of Georgia. You got South Carolina that's right here at the line, right as you get into Savannah, and you got Florida that's right there. And all of those things are within, an hour and some 30 minutes to the school and to the city of Savannah. So I'm overly excited because with my connections in coaching in the state of Georgia, in the state of South Carolina, and even in Florida, and then some of those surrounding states being in Alabama and places like that, I'm like, hey, we can get some really good football players in here. South Georgia is known for being big. I'm a North Georgia guy. I'm an Atlanta guy. But I know when you go down and you play those South Georgia high schools, they're going to be big, athletic, and physical. And so that's what I'm looking to make sure that when my team comes out to play, that's what we look like. We look like a team that's from down there at the bottom, down on the coast. I've done a little research, and we used to go to Jekyll Island, which is a little further south on the coast of Georgia when I was younger. And, that's a lot of people don't know that's where Jim Brown is from. And so there's some different people, brown people that's down there that they're built a little differently. And so, I know I got to go in and go up under some rocks and find some of those good football players. That's a Coach Broadway thing. You better look up under them rocks and find those guys when you go down there. And so, that is definitely what I intend to do, turning over all those rocks and finding those good football players and bringing them back into Savannah State and bringing that pride back. I think that is a big thing. And I know, That's what all the alums want. I think the president, Dr. Worrell, is phenomenal. He is coming in. He got in April, and he's coming in and making some big time changes and trying to add things to the university. And so, shoot, I'm like, hey, I'm excited because I'm coming in at the right time. And so, right. Now I have the dubious task of making sure that I put it on the field on Saturdays. So, I'm excited at that challenge.
Yeah, when I read your resume, man, I'm saying, man, Savannah State don't hit a home run with you.
Thank you.
Last time they really won was when Coach Davis was there, and another guy named Basil played quarterback there back in them days, man. And I see them days coming back with your resume. And a lot of jobs popped open, and I don't know if you were looking for some. And you chose Savannah State, because I did ask you, have you applied for other ones? You said, no, I want this one because I want to go back home. What else besides Savannah, that being back at home, that made you choose Savannah?
I just think that it's a gold mine, and nobody knows, nobody believed it because of what's happened in the last couple of years. And I'm just like, hey, I think I'm the person that can come in and shake some bushes and get that gold to come back out. And so I think that's the big thing that I'm tasked with, and I'm excited with it. I think there's a lot of advantages you have being in that location, and shoot, I'm excited to take advantage of it. I think that there's some great football that's played in that area. I also think that with the fact that I have big time connections in the state, getting a lot of those kids to come back home that have left and gone to other places, and now with this crazy transfer portal, you got to be aware. And I think the advantage I have is a lot of those young men, I recruited them out of high school. And so now when they come back, it's not me just bringing in a random guy that I saw on film. I actually have a connection with them. And so I think that's a big part. A lot of the calls I've been getting from the high school coaches in that area and in the state of Georgia have been kids that I recruited, when I was at A&T or when I was at South Carolina State coming back, or even at Fayetteville State coming back, Alabama A&M coming back to Atlanta recruiting kids. And so, I'm excited. Come on home, help us win some championships and championships. And that's all that's what I expect. We got to put the job in as coaches to get the young men in and prepare them. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah. This being your first head coaching job, you look back, have you had a chance to just sit back in that I remember when I got my first job, and I just kind of sat in the chair, man, and just kind of sucked it in. And I know your phone ring off the hook and everybody want to come and work for you and congratulate you and all that. Have you had time to sit back in your chair, man, and think about it? And what would be, I would say, 2 things that you think you need to get to right quick?
I did have a little bit of time to do it, because I'm going to tell you, when I found out that when they offered me the position, I actually was in a staff meeting. So when it happened, I had to go in my office and be excited to myself. I closed the door, be excited to myself, and then get my face right and go back in the staff meeting and have a seat. And so I did that. But after we finished up that day and I went in the car, I had that moment and, overly excitement, joy. This has been a long time coming. And, I'm a prayerful man. So knowing that he has a plan for us, and that plan was for me to be at Savannah State. And so I'm overly grateful to that. And so I definitely had that moment. So I know exactly what you mean. And then to your next question, I think 2 big things that I have to do. The first thing is staff wise. I got to get gentlemen that are coming in that are going to be with the same mindset as me. My background is education. So I was going to teach elementary school and coach a little high school football when I came out, and just got blessed with the opportunity to coach college football. And so I want teachers, guys that are going to teach great fundamentals, that are going to be detail oriented, and make sure that our young men are prepared every week when we go out on the field. That is our job as coaches. And so that is what I'm looking for with my coaching staff. And I think that is big. And then other than that, the next thing you better go get some players. And so we have to do a phenomenal job. And a lot of it's going to be me by myself, which is fine. I've been doing this for a long time. And it's funny because, me and my brother, we get together, and I was on the video game. I ain't played the video games. I just did the recruiting. So that is what I'm looking to do. And now I do it with my son when we play. It's like, hey, I'll do all the recruiting and all that stuff. You play the games. So that is what I know we have to do a great job of going out and getting young men and bringing the right guys into our program that fit what we're doing offensively, defensively, and on special teams.
Well, you can tell that, man, you're a great guy, because damn it, if when I went back to that meeting after, I'd have started collecting my paperwork and say, hey man, look here, ain't no assistant coach no more. Bye, I'm going. I tell you a story I know with my brother, and of course this is about you, but he had got the job at Tennessee State. And we were doing a recruit weekend, and the coach said, well, hey, you need to go down and pick somebody up. He said, Coach, didn't I just tell you I'm a head coach? You better ask somebody else. Man, I'm out of here. He really got himself in and left the office, man. But
man.
Look, it's a great feeling, man. And I'm going to turn you over to Bishop for a while, but we need more guys like you. Give Savannah State your all. I know you're going to be good. I know you're going to be great there. And I'm not done with you tonight. But it's good to know you, and it's good that our people to know you. And again, we're going to get in this to tonight about, man, we got greatness right here. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And you're a Morehouse State graduate, which you're an HBCU man, but you're a football coach.
Yes,
you coach on both sides of the table. So I just wanted to make sure I got that out. But go ahead, my man Steve Campbell.
Coach, first of all, we appreciate you joining us tonight, but I'm gonna take it because I think there is something special, and I'm gonna set this up, and I'm gonna ask you a question. Now, you are a Morehouse man.
Absolutely, there's only one.
And I wanted to. They say the Morehouse man embodies leadership, intellectual excellence, integrity, and service, characterized by distinct confidence, strong brotherhood, and a commitment to uplifting their community and society. How of you being a Morehouse man, those traits that I just talked about, allowing you to be the type of coach that's going to be able to lead young men? And what you learned from Morehouse?
It's crazy because when you come into Morehouse, they call you a man of Morehouse. When you graduate, you're a Morehouse man. And a lot of times for young men that go to Morehouse College, you don't understand that until you finish. And it is the process. It is the brotherhood. It is the people that work on campus, and a lot of them that are Morehouse men themselves that prepare you for, hey, man, put your shirt and tie on and be prepared and ready to go. You have to lead. And it is a mentality that they give those young men and give you as a young man coming through, teaching you the way to do it. And so taking pride in a lot of those things that we do. And that's a big thing for us as Black males that we have to do a great job of. As men, we have to do a great job of teaching these young men how they should be conducting themselves so that they can lead their own household, because at some point that's going to happen. And those are the things that, now don't get me wrong. My dad is military. My mom is a teacher, and actually she was military as well. So I did get it at home. But when I got to Morehouse College, it was a lot of good brothers that were there. And so I think we all are on that same plane. A lot of those guys are the guys that called me and wore me out for other reasons too, because there was another opening that happened in Atlanta. And I was like, hey man, there's nothing I can do for you, man. I got my place.
Wow.
And, it was hard for a lot of people, but hey, you got to go where they want you and where they want you to be successful. And I think that's what happened. But all of those guys are my biggest supporters. Those teammates and those guys that not even just teammates, but guys that I went to school with that we got to interact with. And I think that is one of the unique things about that place, because you interact with everybody. So, whether it's Randall Woodfin, who's the mayor of Birmingham, Alabama, that graduated with me, whether it's Ike Keys, who played with me, that is, on Power. And we are still very close. And even to some of the guys that are athletic directors and coaches and leaders in Congress that went to school there, all those guys, and we had a great time. But when it came down to business time, we knew what it was and how we need to conduct ourselves. So I definitely would say I learned a lot there, and it helps me here because public speaking was a big thing. And so, it definitely prepared me for situations where I got to go out and speak. And a lot of times it would happen to me as a player where they'd be like, hey, we need somebody to go talk. Thomas, you got it. And just walk away. And I'm like, man, you guys leaving me. But it is something that we take a lot of pride in, and it was something that I definitely take that pride in representing where I'm from, and I do that a lot. Just like I'm from the south side of Atlanta, from Riverdale, and it wasn't cool in Riverdale when I was there, but it is now. So I always say that, and very proud of that. And so, excited for this opportunity as well.
Well, I'll tell you what's funny. I had a sports agency, and I actually met Isaac Keys. We tried to recruit him to our sports agency, so it's kind of funny. And I saw, and I'm looking, and I'm like, man, that's the brother. Yes, I told her, I called my partner. I said, you remember that young brother from Morehouse we tried to recruit? He's on fire. So it just shows you how well-rounded Morehouse makes you all. But I want to talk now, Coach. I want to get to the coaching thing. Now, you are the coach now, and like you said, you already you're named the coach. Literally days, hours, and things like that. You say your phone is ringing. Now, from my understanding, the D2 works a little bit. You can start talking to players and signing players right now. Is that not correct?
Well, the next signing period is going to be coming up in February for me. That's going to be the big one. Yes, you can, but I want to give those young men a chance to get on campus and see the place. A lot of those guys that I talked to already, I touched base and let them know what was going on, and I was here. But I want them to get a chance to see it. And I think that's a big thing, and kind of see my vision and hear it out, even though they know me already, and some of the ones that will get to know me. So I want to do it the right way and make sure that everybody is on the same page. And I think that's big time. With this transfer portal, you want to make sure as you recruit these young men, they know exactly what's going on, and they can ask the questions and see everything, because I'm not trying to hide anything from you. I want you to know exactly what's going on where we are.
Now, Coach, I know you have a defensive background, but I always like, because I told you this earlier, I think it's very important. I'm a big proponent. I go a lot of places, and we have a lot of fathers, and again, mothers too. But we have, and you're going to understand this, Coach, being a Morehouse man and being in Georgia. We have a lot of fathers. They see Georgia, and they see Georgia Tech, and they see Miami, and they see Alabama, and they think that's the only place their son could go play football, when the best place might be at Savannah State. Tell people, these fathers, these parents, what your philosophy is, what type of players that you look for from the high school side, and even those that are saying, hey, you know what? I'm looking for another opportunity. Coach, I'm the type of player that I can play for you. What are you looking for there, Coach?
The biggest thing that I look for, of course, you want to make sure the academics and all of those things are in order. But the big thing for me is offensively and defensively, the position that you play, it fits what we do. And so we do a really good job, and we will do a really good job of recruiting young men, like I said, that fit the schemes that we're playing. And some guys can fit in any scheme, but I think it's a big thing when you want to keep your team and build your program. If you're taking guys that don't fit what you do, that makes it hard. And now I got to have that long conversation with their parents, and they're like, well, Coach, we thought this and da-da-da. And I don't want to put us in that situation or put them in that situation, because that's frustrating. So it is about going and identifying young men and doing a great job in the recruiting process, and then being upfront and honest with them when you get them at your place, so they know exactly what the expectations are, how you see them in your program, and where they can be successful. And I think that that's a big thing. That's something that, we talk about championships and winning those things on a regular basis. It starts with the young men you bring in and making sure that you got quality guys that fit what you do. And I think that is big. And then doing a great job of coaching it once they get there. So in recruiting, that is going to be a big part for me as I talk to my coaches, like, hey, don't just bring a guy in here because somebody said he's a 3-star guy and we got to take him. No, let's watch this guy. Let's evaluate what he's doing. And that's the same thing with transfers, because sometimes you can get in trouble with transfers where you just assume, oh, man, this guy went to such and such. And because he went there, oh, now he's a great player. And it's like, well, let's watch him. Has he been coached? Does he understand what's going on? And so now when he gets here, he can be successful. And I think that saves both of us headaches, him and you as a coach, where now it's like, hey, we got the right guy.
Yeah. Are your athletic director in the school, are they giving you the allotment of 36 scholarships, or how did that work? Or are they giving you the tools that you need to perform or do your job?
I think that they are doing a great job of working to improve everything. There has been some big time improvements in what's going on. And a lot of that I accredit to the athletic director as well as the president, because they want to make a change and they want to be successful. And so, some of that's going to come back on me. We want to continue to improve that. Well, Coach Howard, you got to win some football games. And so I understand that. So I think that they've extended some of that stuff and it's increased it. And so that's going to be big. Another thing for me is taking advantage of the resources that we have already with the Hope Scholarship in the state of Georgia, with young men that got over a 3.0, that helps to cover your tuition. And as well with the bordering states that we have where they're considered in-state. And so me being smart about that so that I can stretch our dollars as far as possible. And that's going to help because now the president and the athletic director, when they look back at it, they're like, hey, Coach Howard is doing a great job using our resources. So now as we give him more, we can see where the benefits are coming out. So it's something that I have to do as well.
Have you tried for head coaching jobs before, or this kind of your first time testing the waters?
I've looked at other head coaching opportunities and tried to get in, but this is the first time that it fit perfectly. And I think I felt that from the initial interviews going through the process and just my interaction with both the athletic director and president. And then once I met the rest of the people on campus, I think it was like, man, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I truly felt that way walking out of there. I tried not to be arrogant about it as I felt it, but I definitely did. And I think that they're excited. Everybody on campus, everybody that's reached out to me, from Savannah State, has been so excited and like, oh man, we're reading your stuff and we like what you do and it looks like it. And so I'm like, hey, I'm just as excited to be over here with you guys. So I think it's a great fit, and I'm ready to get in and change some things and get things going in the right direction.
Man, it sounds like that you got the right direction, and have you had a chance to meet with the players?
Not yet. When I was on campus, I got a chance to meet one young man, but they were actually finished with finals. And so a lot of the young men had already left campus. It's crazy. There's one young man on the team. I actually coached his dad when I first started coaching. And his dad, when I was at Albany University years ago, his dad is from they're from the same area in the Atlanta area as me, Clayton County. And so I coached his dad. And then when they shut down the program at Allen, his dad ended up going to Savannah State and graduating from Savannah State, playing football there. And so now the son is there. And so it's crazy. I was there and around when the son was born. So now I get to coach him too. I coach his dad. I'm going to coach him. So I'm excited about that, and meeting all the rest of the players. Just because there's a lot of guys on the team that I've already, I came across in the recruiting process that are there, and they've reached out to me like, hey, coach, man, you probably don't remember me. I'm like, yeah, I remember you. I know exactly who you are. So, I'm excited about that because there will be some guys on campus that I'm familiar with already.
All right, look, we don't have Rocky on the show, so I got to ask you some questions. I got to ask you something crazy.
Come on.
Why? Why not Morehouse State? Why Savannah State?
Well, I'm gonna say Morehouse College because it is a private. Morehouse College. But like I said, it wasn't the place that I was supposed to be at. And I know a lot of times you come out in the coaching world and you're like, oh man, I want to go back to my alma mater. I had that time early on, but as time has gone on, Savannah State is the place that is excited about Thomas Howard. And so Thomas Howard is overly excited about being at Savannah State. And so that is exactly what it was supposed to be. And like I said, years ago, I was like, hey, how great would it be for me to be the head football coach at Savannah State? And now I'm here. So that is something that I am overly excited about. And that was prayer. And that was just, like I said, it was something that I saw, and now I'm here. So, I'm ready to attack it and go have fun and win a whole lot of football games and make a lot of people happy in the Savannah State nation.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you a question. Have you been able to put together, and this might be a Coach Cole question, I might have stolen it from. See, I've been around Coach Cole, and if you can,
I was just going to say that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I stole it from him. Coach, no, you go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to ask him, have you been able to sit down and put together a staff, where you are staff-wise, or,
I am. I've reached out to a lot of young men that I knew and that I know that are quality coaches. And so I will kind of finalize that stuff as I get on campus because I haven't even been on campus yet. So still, I'll get in there on January 5th and get rolling. But once I get on campus, myself and the athletic director have been talking pretty much every day. So I'm going to try to get that finalized as soon as possible. I am going to meet with the staff that's there and go from there. And so, I'm excited to get started and get those new guys in there that I'm going to bring in and, move forward from there because I think that is a big part of it. So that's something that I want to get on as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, Savannah State finished 4-6 last year.
Mhm.
What are the things that you can see right offhand that you feel that I feel really good about, just kind of looking from the outside, you know what I mean? I know you're in another conference over at Fayetteville State, but what do you see and say, okay, I think we have a building block here, and what part that you say, you know what, because of your talent, your knowledge, that, you know what, I can improve this side of, because one thing about this conference, this is a conference of champions. And what I mean, these coaches, these are high-level coaches. You're talking about coaches like Chennis Beard has been here. Now you just seen, Coach Quinn Gray, Sam Shade, guys like that. So what have you seen from, because again, I'm like you, Savannah State's a sleeping giant. You're talking about a great location, a great university. Like you say, the Hope Scholarship, you know how to work that. But what have you seen to say, you know what, I think we're good here, but here's the things I think we can bring in to make it, to get it to that championship level?
I think one of the things that I've seen just watching them from afar defensively, I'm excited because they do some really, really good things, and they got some good football players on defense. And so building that with my little, flair to it and, trying to continue to build on that. I think, offensively, there's some things that we got to do a great job of getting the right guys in place in certain places. And then the scheme that we have has to fit the young men. Get the young men that, get your athletes the ball. And, shoot, you ain't got to do a whole lot, Coach Cole. I know you know about that. You get your main guys the football and you get them in those situations. Yes, sir. Come on now. So I am a true believer of that. And even as a defensive coach, I know what good football looks like on offense as well. Another big thing for me is getting in with the special teams and seeing what's there. I'm a big special teams guy, and I think that, it's three ways you win football games, man. You got to stop the run, you got to protect the football, you got to win the kicking game. And so that is my recipe, and that is the thing that I'm going to hang my hat on every week. We have to do those things. And so those are the things we're going to focus on getting it done and really getting after it.
My thing, Coach, was that I was an offensive guy, so I knew I could get in the end zone. You know what I mean? So my whole focus was, if I can give you a 2 cents, was focus on the defense, making sure personnel-wise they have who they have. You're a defensive expert. You've been successful, and I want to tell the audience, everywhere he's been. He's coached All-Americans. He's coached NFL players. Damn, you probably could put the defense up in your sleep, And when I did take over the Division II program, I actually didn't hire a coordinator because I didn't want to put nobody in that situation. Because you know how that is, being a defense coordinator, and now you got somebody over there calling your defense. You're gonna be over there.
Yeah.
Financial wise too. Instead of paying them offensive coordinator money, I'm gonna give you the title. So I don't know. That's my little 2 cents in, and to be able to spread your money and spread your coaches down there. That's just my little 2 cents. But I'm pretty sure you've been around enough that I hear you talking that you got everything taken care of.
Yeah, and the big thing for me is, as well, covering the lines, man. I think you win it up front. So having a quality coach as an offensive line coach and as a defensive line coach, that's huge. That's where it starts. You win and lose football games up there in the trenches. You're going to get good athletes. Shoot, where we are, there's so many good athletes that you can find some really good ones. Now, don't get me wrong. We're going to get a lot of them on offense because I understand exactly what you're saying. Hey, I can get us in the right spot and get us lined up and get us to make some tackles, and we can work all those things. But on offense, we have to do a great job of being able to control the line of scrimmage, control the ball. And shoot, when we want to speed it up. When we want to slow it down. And that's what, I want us to be able to do. So we got to get some guys to help us do that. But I think the coaching staff on offense is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. I was just going to say something. Coach, I know you still in your infant stages of stepping in there, and you got to start raising money as well. And maybe we might need to bring you back in January because, our audience also donates money too. Mr. Campbell's over there. Why don't you take it from here? Coach, I stole that one from you, didn't I?
Yeah, and you did steal that, Coach. One thing about me, and people know, I'm always about the money. And the biggest thing is, it's a lot of talk, but you can always do more with money, and then you can talk a little bit louder. So one of the things, Coach, and I'm gonna send this. So here's what I will say to you when you go back to Morehouse and you play them. So all you got to do is you score 50 on them. Just make sure you give $50 back to them, and then they'll be okay with you. Okay.
I will say this, as a proud HBCU alum, I do donate to my school. So I do that as well. I've done it with other schools with season tickets and things like that to make sure that money is rolling through. And I think that's a big thing, working at other HBCUs and knowing how important it is. So I totally agree with you.
We want to donate money to your program.
So, Coach, do you have you guys have that set up where, and like I said, and again, I tell you what we can do, because I tell you what, let's start here. How can people, because what we're going to do, because Coach, I'll ask you this. Do you guys have like an athletic link that you guys have and things like that? And
let me get there so I can see. Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, let me get, because I can definitely get that information to you.
I do know you have Twitter, because I'm following you on Twitter. Are you active on Twitter? Do you use that as people communicate? Yes. So I tell you what, won't you tell people what your Twitter is and what Coach will do? He'll go back and and we want everybody to follow him on Twitter. We want all the parents, we want all the athletes to follow him, because Coach is looking for players. He's already told you the type of players he's looking for. And what Coach will do, he will post that link on Twitter. And then once we have another show, I will get the link. And like I said, I will promote that, because what we really want to make sure is that you start off right. Because like I say, the biggest thing is empowering you. And like I said, Coach, I think what we're really excited about, and I'm just saying, I've just met you, but just to see what kind of, and listen, and think about it, I want to call you a young brother, but man, you talking about you've been coaching 24 years and coaching people's daddies, man.
Yeah, man. Shoot, been doing it a long time, and so yeah.
That's very impressive. But that shows about what people have seen in you to get to this point. So one of the things, Coach, I want to turn this back around about Savannah State and the conference. What do you see? Again, we talked about things that you need to do. What do you think about joining this conference and the teams that are at the top? And again, Albany State is going to have a transition, a new coach, and things like that. What do you think about this? Is a really tough conference with a lot of good football teams, a lot of problems. What do you think about just joining the SIAC?
I'm excited. This will be my first time back in the SIAC since 2002 when I was playing, my last year playing. And so I know this conference very well. I'm a graduate of this conference with the coaches that are in the conference. Shoot, one of the coaches, the head coach at Allen, was one of my coaches when I was in college at Morehouse, Coach Pearl. I've coached against several of the coaches. I played against Coach James at Tuskegee when I was at Morehouse, and he was a quarterback. So I know the conference very well. Yes, it has changed, but I definitely am excited to get back in. Coach Watson at Fort Valley is actually one of my good friends. Got a chance to meet him. And shoot, he was my first call in the conference when I got the job, and just him giving me a call. And that was big time for me. I said, shoot, I'm going to pick your brain, because he is the longest tenure coach now in the SIC in the state of Georgia. And he just got in there. So, I'm excited. I think that it is definitely a tough conference. The things that are happening up there at Kentucky State with Coach Felton, he's doing a phenomenal job. I had a chance to coach against him, and I've met him, and great coach, knows a lot of good things. And so I'm really excited to get back in the conference, go to some places that I haven't been to in a while, and get a chance to go and have some fun. And I'm excited.
Coach, coaching in the SIC or as a player, and coaching in the CIAA, is there a difference? What would you say there's a difference of is the CIAA stronger defensively? Is the SIAC stronger offensively? What do you see the difference?
So you trying to get me in trouble right here, because them guys gonna say something to me. I'm gonna go back to when I was playing. When I was playing, the SIC, we played football. In the CIAA, they play basketball. I'm going to say it like that. Okay? Right now, I think that the CIAA, and coming out of that conference, there are some really, really good coaches in the CIAA that do a phenomenal job with adjustments and things like that. And I got a chance to see that firsthand. I still think that in the SIC, there's a group of phenomenal coaches that were in the SIC. And like you talked about, with guys like Coach Barry moving on, and guys like Coach Shea, Coach Quinn Gray, phenomenal coach, and, excited for him getting to go back home. So, there are some really good coaches, I think, in both conferences, which have made the conferences that much better, because I think the coaches are doing a phenomenal job, and the competition each and every week, man, in the CIAA, it was a dogfight every week. And I watched the SIC And shoot, there's teams that win that you're like, man, they beat them. And it's like, yeah, you got to pack your lunch every week when you're coming to play. So I understand that. I know that's going to happen. I hope I answered your question, but I also can't get beat up because I'll probably get a call from Coach Hayes and some of those guys in the CIAA. And just like the guys in the SIAC go try to say something to me. And I'm like, hey, I know it's good football in both conferences. Really good.
Hey, look, Coach, I can't say nothing. Coach Frazier beat me 3 times in the SWAC.
Come on now.
3 times, man. He the only coach that beat me twice.
Wow.
He the only coach that beat me twice, Coach.
Wow.
But he beat me 3 times. So I know there's some great coaches over there in the CIAA. I had an opportunity to also call some games over there. But man, we excited to see you. Like I said, when you get back on campus. You got something else, Coach?
No, I'm good. Like I said, man, I just want to tell Coach. Well, I do have one thing, because Coach, before we do let you get out of here, and Coach Cole is going to fit, but I always like to do this. Like I said, you got a lot of parents that's watching. Give the parents your elevator pitch on why they should come to Savannah State.
Well, shoot, the first thing is we're building young men. And I want to build young men to be winners for life, not just on the football field, but winners for life. And so that is going to be a big thing, building the culture and building the confidence back in these young men that have been in the program and the new guys that come in with us this year. And shoot, these guys are going to get degrees and win championships. And I think that's the biggest thing, that we're going to keep it simple. And that's the expectation and the standard that we're going to have and set. And we know we got to do some work to get there, but let's go have fun doing it and getting it done.
Yeah. Man, it's been great. I'm excited about you. I see the energy. I see the energy in you. And I think Savannah State have chose the right man. I wish you well. You got my number, anything that I need, you need from me, some advice or whatever. I've talked with Tremaine Jackson today about some things that he was going through. So I'm always here. Man, you got some great guys. You got some mentors, man, shoot, that I take my hat out to. Coach Pugh, I just spent a little time with him, and Coach Broadway, man, you got some guys, Coach.
Did you see him at the Celebration Bowl? You saw him at the Celebration Bowl?
Yeah, I took pictures of all of them. And look, all of them got red jackets.
Yeah. The only one that didn't wear it, though, was Coach Broadway, because you see Coach Broadway look like a basketball player now. Yeah. And so, shoot, man, he's out there I got to talk to him and his wife after the game, because I actually hung out at the game, so I got to see it and see them again. So it's always good when I get to get in with those guys.
Yeah, I hang, talk with Trey a little bit in Washington, and but Coach, you got it going on. We wish you well, man. I know it's Christmas time. I thank you for coming. I know you got to get back to that fiance of yours and all that great stuff. So, man, I thank you. Like I said again, when you get yourself situated and you got that financial piece where we can. You got my number. Once you get it, just send it to us, and we'll get it on the show. Make sure people put some money in there. Thank you, man. Again, thank you for the blessing, for coming on, and we look forward to the success you're going to have down the road.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me on the show. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've been HBCU Coaches Corner.
There you go. And Coach, like I said, when you get that staff together, because we got some faithful alumni that want to hear about that staff. So we look forward, when you get everything together, like Coach said, to bring you back on, okay?
Definitely will.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, there you go. That is Thomas Howard, the new head football coach of Savannah State. Hey, man, those Tigers going to be roaring, Coach. Hey, man, it sounds like they got a good one.
Woo. Hey, look, somebody better pack their lunch pail, because one thing he do, Coach, he don't let you get in the end zone.
Hey, listen.
So that's where championships are started at.
I looked at those stats. When I'm a firm believer, like with you, Coach, you got to start in that defense. And when you get that defense, because like I said, you can figure out that offense. But if you, as you know, like I said, at my alma mater, the offense is catching up, but the defense never got it together, which caused a change at the top. So, I'm super excited to see this brother, man, and a brother from Morehouse. I know his Morehouse brothers are going to support him. And I'm going to say it I'm put that challenge out to those Morehouse men. Hey, man, you got a Morehouse brother down there, man. Send that man some money. Kick a little bit to Morehouse, send a little bit down there to that athletics fund down there to help your brother out. Because, man, we want to see these great coaches have, like I say, the resources to be successful. That's Coach. That's what we really,
but see,
really
the
want.
thing too, you know how I feel, you know, when we start talking about celebrity coaches, and then you got a guy here, Coach, that's been 24 years in the business, 5 national championships, have worked under some of the great coaches, man. And, you know, North Carolina A&T became North Carolina A&T in the largest black college in the country is because of those 5 damn national championship games. Now, they can say what they want. I remember having this talk with somebody last year, was an A&T grad. They got a great engineering program. They got a great school. Don't get me wrong. But your enrollment shot up when you won them 4 football national championships. Let's get that straight. So that's very important. But what's more important is we got kids, I shouldn't say kids, we got guys like him that's been up underneath the radar, Coach. 24 years, everywhere he been, he coached the best defense in the league where he was, nationally ranked. You know what I'm saying? And we just now really knowing that. I didn't know that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Personally, we got guys that's ready to take over some of these positions and make us strong and make us good, you know, make our football teams a good product on the football field.
Yeah, Coach, I just think that, you know, to your point, but this goes back to what we talked about, and I kind of, you know, been trying to beat this drum. There are opportunities for coaches like Coach Howard that were coordinators that are ready to be head coaches. They're ready to be head coaches. I understand, you know, everybody has a choice of what they think is best for their school, but I think, once again, I think when you look at an AD, like you said, a new AD that looked at the landscape and said, you know what, I identified this brother that's going to be able to lead this team to a conference championship. And you can see all the tools that he has, you know, the background, the pedigree, the coaching style, the friendliness to be able to relate to the kids, you know what I'm saying? And I like the fact, you know, and again, it blew my mind. He said, I coach his daddy and now I'm coaching his son. That is a big thing. That goes to trust, Coach. And you know that. You had that happen.
This what kills me about the non-career coach. Oh, man, he got to get a good staff around him. Well, a good head coach is going to put a good staff around him because he know what they look like. He know what he want. I want guys that grind it like I grinded, coming up and getting where I am. And then most of the time, because when you come up underneath them trees, and this is in every organization, and when I say a tree, who all coached under me, championship coach? Who all coached under Hayes? Coached under Trey Oliver, Chennis Berry, now Tremaine Jackson. All those guys got some sprinkle of, they know what to do when they get in there. They're not in there trying to find the restroom. They're not in there trying to say, now what should I work on next? Or in there asking the guy who they hired, what should I be doing next? They already know, Coach. And those coaches come in and win, and they win quickly. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily have to win a championship, but they win quickly. And most of all, for the fans, they put a good product on the football field.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, I'm super excited. I think, you know, this is another great interview. But, Coach, I'm really, you know, there was something else that happened today too, Coach, that we're gonna have to talk about.
Yeah.
And let me just kind of share this screen, Coach, because there was something that happened down at Florida A&M University that I think we might need to take a look at, Coach.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's something happening in a lot of places, Coach, and they ain't necessarily good. So we got a little time, and we'll make sure that, you know, we let our folks know.
Now, Coach, hey, Florida A&M has just hired their 20th head coach, Coach Quinn Gray, former Rattler great, conference champion at the SIAC at Albany State. Coach, he takes over, and now the Rattler faithful are super excited. Coach, I wanted to ask you a question, and I wanted to talk about something that, you know, one of the biggest things when people are talking about his contract, Coach, he's got a 5-year contract, $1.4 million. He's got a $1.2 million salary pool for coaches, where he's going to be able to hire 10 full-time coaches, have graduate assistants, also analysts and things like that. Coach, how important is it for him to have that security of the 5 year and also to have the amount of money, which dwarfs Southern by a couple of 100,000, because they had 950,000. We're at 1.2. How does that work when you're talking about putting the staff together, and how's that going to really help him, having the years of 5 years and having that amount of money to make a staff?
Well, I mean, it takes some pressure off of his honeymoon year. What I mean by that, off of his first year, meaning everybody is invested in. You know what I mean? I feel they got the right guy in Coach Quinn Gray, graduate quarterback, proved that he's a proven winner on the field as a player, off the field. Now he's taking over a job at Albany State, has won a championship. I think he's proved that. I think now Florida A&M is making a commitment. The only, if I had a question about it, is hopefully him and the athletic director is being to, get married and make sure they have a great relationship. I think it's important that you have a complete coaching staff. And not only is he having a complete coaching staff, he's not having a complete coaching staff that every year he ain't going to be losing a coach to his peers, because he's going to be able to match some of the monies that they make. I think that's very, very important. Hopefully he puts some money into a secretary, because when he put this team together with $1.2 million, all of them got to be able to say, Quinn Gray is our boss, and that's how we move. We move all in one motion. So I think it's great. I think it's great for Florida A&M. Again, the only question mark I have is when this new AD come in. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. Hopefully everything in line. And with him being able to have that kind of money and hire those coaches, everything got to be in line with the head coach's dream, head coach's philosophy, what the head coach want to do. So I think he's off to a roaring start. I know for a fact he's guaranteed 3 out of the 5. You know what I mean? If he starts out slow. But I just don't see that. I see him being very, very competitive.
Coach, I tell you, one of the things that I found interesting is that when I saw the contract and I saw the years and I saw the amount, and one of the words I like to use is value. Florida A&M is getting great value in this contract. And also, to your point, Coach, when you're talking about alignment, I did a watch party. They did the contract went before the board of trustees. Angela Suggs was there to present along with President Marvin Johnson. And Coach, I was looking forward to be on there for an hour and a half. Somebody, the second and third, you know how they have to do it, the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth and this, Coach. Coach, we were on there. The meeting went for 10 minutes, Coach. And what I say is because the president knew who was the best person for the job. Special Assistant Suggs worked with the president to identify all the various candidates. And then from there on, it looks like they had a great conversation with Quinn about contract, how he feel comfortable about what he's getting paid, how we could make him successful. Coach, I'll tell you another thing, too. They've got money for 65 scholarships for summer school. What do you think about it? Coach, talk about that, because this is HBCU Coaches Corner. So they're going to be able to fund 65 players to go to summer school. How important is that for kids to go to summer school, Coach?
Coach, that's man, look, that's just as good as getting players, Coach. That's where it starts. I believe in my philosophy that you win championships in the summer. And here's why. You if you have all 65, 70, 80 players, every championship I've won, Coach, I've had over 60 players stayed in the summer. All right. Got jobs, stayed, worked out. You get that camaraderie ship. You lifting weights. You've got your conditioning. So when you come into August, you're not trying to get in shape. You learning plays. See, back in the day when we come in, everybody come in August, nobody ain't really in shape. So you still just trying to fight through them first 2 weeks of getting in shape. So you're making a lot of mistakes on the field. When you got 65 to stay for the summer, you working through the same plays and everything else. When you come in the fall, all you doing is working on execution. And when you got that and you rolling and you get in that first game, because in the second game, great teams make the biggest improvement going into that second game. But you come in that first game and you already know that playbook by heart, you just that far ahead. So I think it's big, it's huge. Hey, Coach, they want to know if they could.
Yep, I'm getting ready to drop that StreamYard link right now, and we're going to transition. Because I do have another thing I want to show you, Coach. Hey, guys, listen. We don't have the phones because Rocky's not here, but we do have the StreamYard link, dropping the link on. So if you want to come on and talk about, the coaching hire in Florida A&M, we know a lot of people want to talk about that. There's an opening in Morehouse that is kind of swirling people down there. But, Coach, I want to show you something that I saw that I want to get your opinion on, too, that I thought it was very interesting. That is going to be happening with Coach Barlow, friend of the show, and who he's looking to potentially make his offensive coordinator, Coach.
Well, I already
that up right here.
You know, when I first heard that, I already made one call, Coach.
Now, Coach, come on, Coach. Is this a thing, Coach? Is Matt Leone?
It's a done deal, Coach.
It's a done deal, Coach. Talk to us about this, and why is this such a big get for Coach Barlow up at Tennessee State?
You know, I reached out to some of my folks. You know, of course, I coached up at Tennessee State, and this is like his third time trying to get this job at Tennessee State.
Okay.
The coach before him didn't take him. I don't know what's going on up there. You know, I do, but I don't. You know, Barlow had brought in, another coach that we had on the show, Coach Morgan.
Right.
Used to be the head coach at Edward Waters, who we felt and thought that he was going to Tennessee State to eventually take over Coach Harris, who left and went back to the XFL. Unfortunately, some things took place where Coach Morgan took over at the end of the season. Well, it was his first year there. He's taken over offense that really ain't his. He's got 4 games to make improvement. He's coaching kids he never coached before. So I think that was unfair to Coach Morgan. He's gave up a head job to move to Tennessee State. Unfortunately, my heart go out to him because he's one of mine. You know, he played up under me. I know the type of offense he coached for Barlow before up at Virginia State, where they won 8-2 and had great seasons. And then now they bring in my man from North Carolina Central,
Coach Leone.
That's what I thought. I was going to say Leone, Coach Leone, which we all know now. He's done some good things at North Carolina Central. You don't win the national championship. You don't get in the national championship. Harris was a 3,000-yard passer, So, hopefully he can come in and do some good things for Tennessee State. Oh, I know Coach Barlow, had a dismal first year.
Yeah. But he got in there late, Coach. He got in there very late.
Yeah.
He was able to recruit. And just the fact that he even got it to a point where they got a couple of victories, I think says a lot about his coaching ability.
Yeah. But the bad part about it, people don't look at, man, we won the OVC, and then now we're at the bottom of the OVC. So, you got to swim down there, man, and grab that brick and bring it on back up to the top. So hopefully Leone can help him do that. Great hire. We can't say that. We can't say it ain't. I mean, this guy's a championship offensive coordinator. Great hire. Talking with Cherry Oliver tonight. Hey, man, do you know Trey has lost close to 5? I think he's lost almost everybody on his championship coaching staff. Once he won the national title that year. I think he's lost every coach.
But, Coach, that's a good thing. That means those guys are good coaches. They're getting other opportunities.
Well, yeah, it's a good coach for everybody them, but it's bad for him. Look, North Carolina Central, I know you listening, Johnny Thornton. Man, y'all gonna have to put some money in the assistant coaches pile.
Absolutely. All right, Coach, we got bringing up my man Al from Detroit. Are you there, my brother? I know you did you go back and get you a drink? Are you still here with us?
No, I'm still here with you, Coach Campbell. What's going on, Coach Cole?
There he is. He there, Coach.
What's up?
I don't hear him. You hear him?
No, Coach, watch the stream. Don't watch the YouTube, Coach. Watch the StreamYard. Because the YouTube has a delay. You got to look at the StreamYard screen.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Coach
we can hear you perfectly. Yep.
Okay, man, I just saw what you posted. Man, Trey, he can't get a break. He lost to quite a few people from his staff last year. He said he lost his chaplain. Now he lost his offensive coordinator. now you see why I was not Coach Cole. Now you see why I was saying maybe it might have been a good idea for him to go somewhere else because he can get that money.
You got a point there, man. The point is if North Carolina Central is going to be patient and understanding what this man been through. Ain't no question he's a good coach, but everybody knows, or you should know, if you sitting in that room and you the smartest in the room, you ain't going to be victorious. And Trey Oliver knows that because that made him the great coach he is. So he's just going to have to go and do a better job. Well, I shouldn't say a better job, a good job of going out and finding pieces, to put his program back together.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Coach. I think this is on the administration. I think this is on the athletic director. Where are they going? Because think about what FAMU just did when they hired Quinn Gray. They made sure that he was going to have an opportunity to be successful by being able to hire coaches, giving him the money. You saw with Southern the investment. You got to make an investment. I know North Carolina Central wants to get back at that Celebration Bowl, so they're going to have to make an investment. You saw what South Carolina State did. They made an investment. They Buddy Pugh brought in who? He brought in Shennis Berry. I'm just thinking, man, you saw what PV did. My man said, look, we got to make a change. So they brought in Coach Jackson. I'm just trying to figure out if you wait, it might be different. But before I get off, the thing I want to ask Mr. Campbell is, hey, I see Marvin wasn't playing. She put that stuff in writing. I think she didn't like losing. Coach Campbell, what you think?
Well, let me tell you what I said. We did a watch party, and I was there for a lot of the home games. And I say this out of respect. President Johnson did not come from HBCU. She went to Georgetown. She actually went to Georgetown with one of my classmates, just like a sister to me. And I think what she quickly learned as she was the president and had to get on that field and saw the passion of the fans and how important it was to have a winning program in Florida A&M, I think she started to say, you know what? This is somewhere where I can start making inroads with the alumni. And I think she started working. And again, that's the reason why AD Suggs didn't go anywhere. I tried to tell people. She identified the ability that AD Suggs had. She said, well, you know what? I think I have a better position for you. Let me make you the special assistant to help give me an overview of the university, especially with athletics, football being the front porch. And I think she really saw how important it was. And I'll tell you one thing. She went down to that Mississippi Valley game and saw the hurt and the
She saw that? She was at that game?
Oh, yeah. She flew down there. The president usually goes to all the games. And I think right then that she became a Rattler right then to understand that was unacceptable. And I think that's when she quickly went to work to find a person that, A, would not lose to Mississippi Valley anymore, not have 30, 40-point blowouts, and to put FAMU back in the championship position.
Man.
So now
I understand now, Mr. Campbell. I knew somehow. I said, man, listen, she did it so quick. I said, everybody on her, but she hurried up and got that dude up. Like I said, nothing against Coach Cozy, but losing to Mississippi Valley wasn't a good idea, man. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all guys have a good one.
We appreciate it. But yeah, I want to talk about that, Coach, because I think that was important. I think one of the things that, Coach, we've had a lot of dysfunction at Florida A&M, and let me tell you, I've done a lot of those watch parties on the board of trustees meeting, and boy, they have went left, right, and side to side. And I knew, Coach, God must be looking on our side because Coach, it went for 10 minutes and nobody was complaining and once the lights went off. So I hope that tells in the 2026, what some other things that Florida A&M has to work on. But, Coach, I think people were super excited. And like I say, to give respect to the president, I think she made a great decision. And also, again, I think the contract was a great contract to Coach to talk about things that we didn't overpay on one side because we were able to pay for some other things, as to getting the multiple coaches with the coaching pool and the summer school that we're going to be able to do.
Hey, one good thing about it, man, he got no excuses, Coach. None, zero. Y'all open up the pocketbook, but why not? I love the hire. He's a Florida A&M man. He played quarterback there. He was a good kid when he there, not only just a player, but on and off the football field. He showed that he could coach. He's a career coach. He gonna get people to come back, Coach, fans of his, classmates of his. He's gonna be just as big as a draw where you need him to be at. He's not nationally yet, But when you win the national championship, don't that make you national?
Dang.
That makes you national, right? So, I mean, I think it's just a super, super great hire, man, and I hope he able to get a great coaching staff around him.
Now, Coach, listen, I'm going to pivot while we wait for some other people to come. Coach, we have the Morehouse job that's open.
Yeah.
We have the Clark Atlanta job that's open now.
Well, let's
talk
about that.
The Albany State job that's open, Coach. I'm going to look to some other things I want to ask you about. Coach, those are 3 jobs in the same conference. Coach, what do you think? Who do you think some people they should be looking at? And what do you think the opportunity is for a coach to come in and turn at least Morehouse around and to rebuild what Teddy Keaton did and also keep it going with Albany State as far as being a champion?
Albany State is down to 2 guys now, 2 guys that they're interviewing. And I was getting that information before I got on. I didn't get the 2 names yet, but it's down to 2. And Morehouse, right now, they had an interim coach that's there named George Why should I'll get it. I
No problem.
Who he worked for, Coach, my mind. And he's been there for 18 years. George Copeland, I'm sorry.
Okay.
George Copeland been there for 18 years, Coach. He's been the defensive coordinator there for 18 years. The last time they went to the playoffs, he was the defensive coordinator. And he's set for 3 different coaches already. So I think they're leaning in that direction, saying, well, man, we keep having this guy. He's been here. He's a solid roadblock. He knows everything about the program. Why not give it to him? So he's sitting there and he's taking over what's going on now, and he's kind of running the program. At Clark, of course, this was a big thing that happened this past week. They still got some coaches there that's actually doing the recruiting for the school. And, it's unfortunate there that they had some things going on in the program that the administration just didn't care for, and unfortunately for all the coaches there, after coming off the best season that they've had in over 35, I think 40 years, Coach. That first season at 7-3. But I just want everybody to know this, though. That don't mean that Coach Keaton done some or he's a bad guy or any other of the coaches on there. Man, that's just a part of coaching, Coach Campbell. There's a coach that get hired, there's a coach that get fired, and there's coaches that's about to be fired, and there's coaches that's about to be hired. That's just a part of the business. So, we don't want Coach Keaton and his family, man, to enjoy this Christmas break. Unfortunately, that's a part of the business. You know what I mean? But I think he's done some things over at Clark University that had never been done before. And it takes a lot to do that. So that's where we kind of went. Clark, man, who they should hire? Well, they was already good on offense. They got some kids that's left over there. They got to recruit better on the defense side of the ball because they had a whole freshman secondary. They got to be better. Got to be better on defense. Offensively, I thought they had the freshman quarterback. You never know. He might get into the portal. They can't leave those jobs open too long, Coach, because
Right.
all the kids start moving and transferring and move on. And you don't want that. You want to be able to get a quick turnaround and get somebody in there to handle those jobs.
Now,
Out
Coach,
of three,
Go ahead.
the best job to me is Albany State.
Now, Coach, now there is, I understand because they just want it. But overall, from a historical perspective, why do you think that's the best job, Coach?
Albany State,
Yeah.
the campus is built. They got a big stadium on campus, nice. The enrollment is high. To get in there is cheap. They got a winning tradition. Coach White, back in the day, championship after championship. Great fan base. They get all kind of students. White, black, purple has been opened up. the tradition is strong there. Albany State has always been a winner in the SIAC.
Coach, wanted to talk about, we didn't get a chance to talk about it with some of the people, and some of the names you may know, some of the names you may not know, but I want to talk about Marshall Faulk, and I want to kind of pull up some of the people that he is kind of bringing on his staff and see some of these names that you might know, or what do you think about him bringing these NFL players. I'm going to share this screen real quick right here, Coach, and let's see if we can pull that up. So let's see if we got that right there. Let's see if I can make that a little bit bigger. So, Coach, one of the things that stuck out to me, Todd Light, again, played during my era, come from Notre Dame. He's going to be the defensive coordinator. He looks like he's got Curtis Johnson, who's going to be the assistant head coach, general manager. I think, Coach, you talked a little bit about him. Ken Merchant coming over from Sacramento State. Now, we heard like 3 or 4 different names with who was going to be the OC. I think Ken Merchant will be the guy. And then, Coach, the one that I kind of was interesting, and I wanted to get your point of view, Ben Miles, who's going from a graduate assistant from Florida State to become the recruiting coordinator and the tight ends coach over at Southern. Coach, what do you think about this coaching staff? You know, be honest with you. You know what I mean? I know you got your opinion about how these celebrity coaches hire. What do you think about some of the names that you know? And what do you think about some of the names that you don't know, but you kind of know, like a Todd Light, as far as the NFL?
Yeah. Me and Curtis started the business together. Curtis is Mr. New Orleans.
Okay.
He recruited Marshall Faulk, and he's recruited some greats. He's been the head coach at Tulane. He's been the wide receiver at New Orleans Saints. You know, he's a Louisiana guy. You know what I'm saying? He's been around a long time. But he's never been to Southern. It's different when you walk into a house and you got LSU, you got Tulane, but when you walk in there with Southern into the house, you got to really put your best foot forward. You know what I mean? Todd Light, Ken Merchant, they all new guys to the conference, Coach. Are they teachers? That's what you got to ask. Now, I don't want to hear about you using pro, because when you're in pro, you're coaching the best kids. They up there to play football. You know what I mean? They football players. Right. You know, when you're in college, you gotta teach like a professor or a teacher. You know, you ain't getting all the top players. You know what I mean? You got to be able to relate. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to be patient with these guys. Ben Miles, I don't know what that is. You know, I don't. You know, of course, everybody know Les Miles used to be the head coach over at LSU, and actually, I think he left and went to Oklahoma. I think
Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Oh, did he go to Oklahoma State? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, what is that? I mean, that's a treat, which, hey, you know, you get in where you fit in at. So what I don't see, Coach, yet is that he's got an HBCU man on his staff that knows what's happening, knows the road that he's gonna travel, knows where they should stay when they get there, and when they, you know, where they're gonna eat at, and all that kind of stuff. That helps. So I don't know. At one time I heard he was gonna keep Fred McNair. I don't know if he's still gonna do that. I think that would be a good job, a good hire, or at least somebody who knows the roadmap in this SWAC conference.
Coach, yeah, you know, when I saw the staff being put together, I did find it interesting that he did not have, you know, that one guy that was a SWAC guy that could kind of be more like the godfather on the staff, you know what I mean? Give him the assistant head coach, but, you know, not specifically coaching an area, but, you know, kind of give him advice. Hey, this is how the conference works. This is how the recruiting works. This is how the portal works. Here's who you got to know. Miss Betty Lou down the street, because she always feed the coaches. You know, like you said, you got to know the things like that. And so I did find that, you know, kind of interesting that I have not seen that yet. Not to say that a person like that will not join the staff, but I did find that they really went totally, hey, we don't want anybody really from Southern. We're going to go with, you know, what Coach Faulk, you know, again, he's been around Deion. He was up there in Colorado. He's bringing NFL guys. He played with Todd Light. So I do understand some of the trust there. So I did find that interesting of kind of how he's building that staff. You know, again, I'm seeing there, you know, of course, it's the high schools. So he is hitting, you know, high school players. The portal, of course, we know opens up, you know, in about 10 days, a little bit less.
I'm gonna say, my homeboy who I grew up with, Martin Bates, he works at Delaware State. And me and him talk, for hours, of course, catching up. We grew up from down the street from each other. Martin Bates played at Bowling Green, All-American, and went on to play with the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers, for another 12 to 15 years.
Yep.
And we had an opportunity to talk about, and I asked him, I said, what's going on? He said, man, look, we got a great staff. We got 8, 9 guys that have actually coached in the pro. Coached. I didn't say play. I said coached. And a couple of them I went to some HBCUs. So they got a good staff, of what they got to do. And they let coach take care of, the day-to-day operations of a head coach. And that's important. And, when I seen Delaware State and how they were dressed and how they approached the game, I really felt that Coach Jackson had an idea of what he wanted to do if he ever got a head coaching job. And of course, the rest is history. And I think he'll come back just as strong this coming year.
Right. Yeah, Coach, I got to agree with you. And Coach, and speaking of Coach, we can kind of talk about that. You know what? What do you think about this? I just read this, that Delaware State has actually extended Deshaun Jackson. Coach, what do you think about that?
It speaks volume about him as a man and a coach, that, he's serious about what he came there to do and what he came there established. I'm impressed. I'm not no hater in no means. I thought he made some good moves. Like I said, when I look at a football team, I can tell if somebody's paying attention to details. And a lot of times, if you ain't been in this head coaching position, or you ain't been in a coaching period, then you don't know what you're doing. And I'll never, let me say this and make sure, I'll never buy into, I'm an educated man. I'm an educated man and
an educator.
And an engineer as well. And I will never buy into, because you're a good player, you can come and be my CEO of my company. I never buy into that. I don't care, because if you look back, we've hired a whole bunch of pro players before.
Right.
That don't make you successful, Coach. That don't make you successful at all. And the most people who have success is career coaches. It's coaches like Coach Thomas who don't came up under these great coaches, and he don't seen championship. He don't seen how it works and what you got to do. When he sat in that chair on January 5th, when he report, he already know what he gonna talk about, where he gonna go, who he need to see, what the coaches need to do, and everything else.
Coach, one of the things I saw, and shout out to HBCU Game Day, they're making a commitment, $125 million athletic transformation initiative. The plan includes a new indoor training facility, a revamped football stadium, and significant upgrade to the downtown athletic campus. The first phase of the project totals $50 million, already includes $20 million in state funding and $5 million in private support. According to Allen, athletics plays a central role in the university's growth and profile. So how much do you think Deshaun Jackson's profile is also aligned on the fundraise, Coach, and to make this commitment to him? Because they say we want to keep him around because we want to use him to fundraise.
Well, me knowing about Delaware and Delaware State, the state is actually, Campbell, you say this all the time about these other schools, give us our money.
Yeah.
And finally, Delaware State has been getting their money. So having Coach Jackson there is a caveat. You know what I mean? Right place at the right time. We getting this money, we got this coach, and it's just a win-win situation for that school. You know what I mean? How much did he have on it? Not much, because a lot of it was already in place. Because Delaware, the University of Delaware got all that already. And Delaware State should have been having, and so having him there, it added. Having a great year, it added, saying we're not wasting our money. You know what I mean? It made everybody feel good. That's one thing about winning, Coach. When people feeling good, I remember when I was talking to an AD, and I don't want to say who it was. And the AD said, "Well, Coach, you was drunk at a place." And I said, "Man, let me tell you something. You don't know me very well. That ain't never me, Coach. You've been out with me, a whole bunch of times."
Right.
I said, that ain't me. And I said, but here's the thing though. When you have these functions, you do have some drinks there. Because when people is having a good time and they're around good people, they tend to open the wallets up. Shoot, with every PWI school I've been at, Coach, when we had functions, they have a little drink around. Everybody relax. But guess what they do? They write them checks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
So I was saying that to say when people feeling good, man, it's easy to get some money.
Hey, Mr. Griffin,
you just were talking about it at Florida A&M.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, and listen, we've already started a fundraising drive, which I kind of got in my bio. Like I say, Restore the Strike. We're looking to raise $250,000 before the 31st of January.
And Coach, he's one of y'all, man.
And Coach, that money is already coming in, Coach. They probably, like I say, they started this morning, and I'm pretty sure they're about to hit $20,000 already, Coach.
I'm still upset at Mississippi Valley when they didn't give Willie Totten the athletic director job. Why would you not give a man the athletic job that is named? We as HBCUs, we have made some boo-boos, Coach. Why would you not give Willie Totten the job when his name is on the stadium? Why would you get rid of Doug Williams in his 25th year anniversary of winning the Super Bowl? You know what I mean? What we doing, Coach? You know what I'm saying? It's just so many times the problem with us is we can't afford to miss those money grabbing opportunities. You know what I mean? We can't miss those, man. We can't miss those opportunities.
Absolutely. Coach, I'll tell you what, we like it's the holidays, and like I say, want to thank everybody, for joining us tonight. Coach, I know we kind of went over everything. Coaches, I do want to just ask you one question. What are you looking forward in 2026? What do you want to see from, again, the HBCU coaches? What do you want to see from the fans going into 2026, Coach?
I think media-wise, that I would like to see, and I'm talking to the commissioners, presidents of HBCUs and stuff. I think every school has a brand. They do. But I think we will get the bigger hot potato or the bigger money if we start supporting the brand of HBCU, historically Black colleges and universities. I love SWAC TV. Man, Coach, that's one of my best shows because I can watch all my games. You know what I'm saying? I ain't watching pro football. I'm watching SWAC TV. But here's my problem. HBCU Gold, man, one of the greatest things that happened for us, man. HBCU Gold, historically Black colleges. We filming football. I can't say enough about it. But here's where I think we need to do a better job at, if we could. We need to promote how we get the app. I think every campus should have some up there. When the kids show up on campus, you know how they have those. I forget the name. Get the app. HBCU app. Get the SWAC TV app. Every kid that go to a Black school should have the app on their phone. Every school. Because that's where the money is. Listening to our commissioner, he said, man, we got 900,000 fans, new fans. Every game, we should be passing that code out. Get the app. We need the app. We need the HBCU Go app, and we need the SWAC TV app. Let's put the money in promoting getting the app. What you think, Cole?
Well, I think one of the biggest, Coach, and I'm going to say this too, and I've been to a lot of these.
When you finish.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I think there's a big disconnection between the students and them supporting athletics.
Yeah.
I see a big disconnection. So, Coach, to your point, you've got kids that don't even know when a big game is. They don't know. And I'm telling you what I know, because I got kids that are friends that are kids. Hey, I say, hey, man, you know, Alabama State and Jackson State are playing. Your kid going to the game. They ain't going to the game. Like, man, that's a big game. Man, they doing something else on social media and stuff like that. And I've seen you in FAMU. We have an outstanding student say. But when Jackson State came down there, man, it was like, I was shocked. I was disappointed that those students did not show up for a big game. You know what I mean? This is Jackson State, and they don't even understand the importance of FAMU and Jackson State, you know, and things like that. When we went to school, and like I said, when I would take my friends from FAMU to Jackson State game. When Jackson State played Grambling Southern, I'm like, we would look good. We'd be playing somebody in the MEAC. I'm like, bro, you about to come. I'm about to show you something.
I know it's definitely a difference, because when I was in Texas Southern in the 80s, because we averaged 12,000 fans, and we wasn't really doing a whole bunch of winning, but it was game day. It was game time. Everybody would come to the games. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I know now, you know, there's a lot of other distractions and stuff. Here's my other thing. Same thing to our commissioners. And this is not saying they're not doing a great job. Let's make sure we're clear. I'm not saying they're not doing a great job. Again, the SWAC Challenge and the Celebration Bowl. The Celebration Bowl is our Super Bowl. That's how we should take it. People come from all over America. I've been to 11 Super Bowls, Coach, NFL Super Bowls. People come from all over America. It ain't just the people who support the two teams are there. It's an event. So we need to push, and the advertisement to me and the promotion should be pushed. This is our day. Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, you know, W.E. Du Bois, Henry Box Brown, Harriet Tubman, you know, Parker, Bushrade, all these. It should be our day. We should be promoting. You know, when we went, it was only 26,000. Prairieton and Holly show up. They were coming from Houston. We forgot they just had traveled to Jackson State the week before. So that's tough. But the game should be supported by Black folks. Black folks. I think we should do it. We need to bring some type of major rapper in that mug. You know, make halftime go an hour, Coach. Who cares? We partying. It's a party in Atlanta. So instead of us putting all the pressure on the two teams to bring all the fans, everybody should be there, Coach. Everybody that have attended a HBCU school should come, and we should pack that thing out. Somebody or some promoter got to get in there and grab that game, invite some stars. You know, Tyler Perry gonna be there. You know, Beyonce gonna be there, like it used to be at the classic, the Space City Classic that we used to have it in Grambling against Grambling, or the Bayou Classic, or the Labor Day Classic. That game, you know what I'm saying? Man, we get some top rapper in there, T.I., whatever, man, come in there at halftime and work with whoever band show up there and have another stuff. We should be 50, 60 strong up in there, Coach. But we got to advertise it as it's our Super Bowl.
Right.
Does that make sense, Coach?
No, it totally makes sense, Coach. And you hear pushback, and I know again, I understand for some people to not be able to come, but to your point, Coach, I'm a type person. I used to go to All-Star Weekend and the Super Bowl every weekend and everything like that. And it was a thing. It was just a thing. And Coach, you know that we didn't have a school Texas Southern one. Their family was, but it was. We had a ball. It was, and the game was great. If you were a fan of football, which showed because they showed all the white people were watching, Hispanics were watching. It was a great football game. So my thing is, if people would start to say, you know what, I'm going to make this. And again, I think it's two things. They need to have a job fair. They need to have a college fair, which the college fair to me is just easy.
Coach, the commissioners and the people who they got to sit down, man, and make this thing the goddamn Super Bowl, Coach. The music should be going.
Okay. Hey, Conrad, one thing. Conrad, yeah, there we go. Looks like, okay, there we go. All right, Coach, we got Conrad on here. Brother Conrad, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining HBCU Coaches Corner. You got me and Coach Cole.
He on the UP. Which channel he on?
Coach Cole.
Hello.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Coach Cole, Mr. Campbell.
I just found out too,
Cole.
Coach, why he's trying to get together on the deal was. Do you know, out of both games, I got this from the media.
Hold on, Conrad. Yeah, go ahead.
That we had more Caucasians watch the Celebration Bowl and the challenge than black folks, than black households.
Yeah, we did. All right, Coach, we got watch the stream, y'all. We got Conrad on. Conrad, go ahead, brother. What's your question?
Coach Cole, how you doing, sir?
Can you hear him, Coach?
Coach Cole, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. How you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, I'm a long-time assistant at Morgan State University here in Baltimore, Maryland. I came in under Ricky Diggs, who you probably know real well, and also Stump Mitchell, and my man, Coach Melvin Spears, when he was a heck of a defensive coordinator. See, that's a long time ago, Coach Cole. That's back in '94, man. 94, 95. And the question I had for you, Coach Cole, man, you and your brothers, Coach Diggs always talked about you and your brothers doing staff meetings, man. How y'all was legendary, man. Legendary. Like I said, you've been around a long, I've been hearing about you since 1994. So, that's a long time, man. So,
well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. And I still get me a mile or two in, baby. Don't put me in the grave yet. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate it.
The question I have for you though, Coach, being I'm an old head, you know what I'm saying? How have you seen HBCU football evolve from way back when, like I said, that was 1994 to up to now 2025.
You know, man.
I told people, I still remember Coach Campbell coaching against Quinn Gray, man. I was on the field when I was down in Tallahassee, and Coach Quinn Gray threw up 400 on us, and I was like, oh my God. And they had the Rat Boys, and I mean, they were just showing off, and that, even though he whipped up on us, but like you said, Coach Campbell, if you don't know, you don't know, man. That just made me fall in love with HBCU football so much more, man. And I'm on the opposing end just because of the type of athletes like Coach Gray and the Rat Boys and those type of athletes. So I just feel like how have you seen it, Coach Cole, evolve?
Yeah, I think it has evolved. But I still think that we got so much more to go. I'm one of those guys that I don't want to sound hard as I'm either winning or I'm losing. I ain't a Serb and stirring the Serb, and while we can, we could. I think we could be much further along. I think with this SWAC TV, I think with this HBCU Go, I guess we have evolved from just BET. So we have, but I think we're in our way. You know what I mean? We're in our way. We too territorial. We too. I'm Jackson State. I'm Florida A&M. I think it's the brand. The brand is HBCU. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the brand we get the little money on those. And the only ones that are getting them, and Coach says it's so lovely all the time, the Bluebreds. He always say the Bluebreds. They getting the money, but the Valleys ain't getting the money. The Alcorns ain't getting the money. The Pine Bluffs ain't getting the money. You know what I'm saying? But if we go HBCU Go, I'm an economist. If the SEC can do it, the HBCU can do it. Just on a lower model. If they getting $2 billion, what's wrong with us getting $900 million on the TV package? The HBCU brand, not saying that we're lower than them. We got to take our stance. This president of Lane College used to tell me, Dr. McClure used to tell me, he said, see, Coach, we ain't TSU. and my brother was with me. We not Nebraska. See, y'all little, y'all big animals. See, we little animals. See, we got to wait till y'all go to sleep, then we come out and get the crumbs. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with getting the crumbs. The thing is that make sure we doing what? Eating. And I just think that we if we could come together, and I've been saying this for 10 years. I know somebody gonna take my idea one day. You know, when y'all die, y'all make sure y'all tell them that we need to come together as the HBCU TV package and sell the TV package, our best games. The promoters who's putting those games on, pay them. Make sure they do their job. Here's the number you need to meet. This the money you get. We want to pay them out the big payment, so the games will be watched. And that Celebration Bowl, man, we got to spend some money to make money. We got too many African American superstar entertainers that can't be at that game. Like somebody said on my comments, a pre-show, a halftime show, and an after show. You know what I'm saying? And both teams playing, and give both teams rights to tickets closer to the field. And man, then have just a damn ball, man, and just show up. But we get in our way. You know, we don't love each other like we should, man. I was just watching some. I'm preaching, ain't a not, Coach. I was just watching some 60s stuff, Coach. You know, they were crossing the bridge, and you know, we had some brothers sitting up at the counter, and they were throwing ashes in their head, and them brothers we were just look. No, man, we're gonna sit at this table. We eating today right here at the table. That's them the brothers that we need, man. No, man, we're gonna be together. We're gonna work this thing out, and we're gonna make this the biggest and most exciting 2 games that's ever been played, man, in college football. And we can do that. We can do that, man. We can sell Atlanta Stadium out, and we can sell Georgia State Stadium out with those 2 games. But we got to make a commitment, and we got to be able to touch the people. And I think if we had these things at every campus about making sure you get the SWAC TV app, the HBCU Go app, have some promotions about it, man, and do some things around it. I think that package could add money to every school. Every black school should get some of that TV package, and I think it would make a difference. And I didn't mean to get off on this bandwagon, but this just been close to.
You know what I think? You know what I think we need to do? We have to do, Mr. Campbell, Coach Cole. I think we have to better educate our young folk.
Yeah.
Our young folk. Yes. About our HBCUs, because I mean, I just give you a personal history of myself. I came up in a private school situation. So that was all through high school. So my first time really understanding what an HBCU was when I went to Morgan State as an undergrad. And basically it was a culture shock. It was a culture shock because when I try to tell people, when I went to this private school, man, I'm not trying to sound like racist or anything like that, but when I went to private school, those Caucasian brothers that were at the school, they tried to get us to understand as brothers, as black men, that we were better than our counterparts. Those kids that went to a public school, stuff like that. That's how they try to condition our mind. You know what I'm saying? And that you were better than. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying that, okay, no, he just like me, so we all one. You know what I mean? So, and just like when it comes to our HBCUs, you know what I mean? Because I was in that type of setting, it was, okay, no, you've been educated to think better than the Morgan State University or the Bowie or the Howard. You know what I'm saying? But once I got on campus at Morgan State, I was like, again, shell shocked. I was like in awe, because I was like, man, no, it's nothing like what I learned. So I just think, I think we just need to do a better job of educating our young people about our HBCUs.
That's very important. I'm a middle school teacher, man, here in Arizona. And I mean, it's just so disgraceful that our young kids don't know anybody. You ask them who Martin Luther King is, they say that's the first black president. You know, and it's bad. I think you hit the nail on the head. That's why they want to take. You know, we great get into some political stuff, but they want to take stuff and don't want you to read books, and books don't supposed to go in the libraries, so you won't know who you are and why you are and what you're supposed to be doing. So I get it, but I just think that I can't say enough about Commissioner McCullough. I mean, he come up with the SWAC deal, and Curtis come up with the HBCU goal along with his backing. But I still just think, man, that we need to promote them games, Campbell, as
And
us
also,
games.
Coach Cole, not the Mr. Campbell. Also, man, that I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland, 45 minutes from DC, Howard University. There's a different mindset of the level of HBC football up this way, because we get a lot of athletes that if they start getting recruited by Alcorn, Southern, Jackson State, Florida A&M, even though Morgan is like 20 minutes from where they live, it's like Morgan's not seen on the same level as a Florida A&M, Jackson State. It's almost like, oh, the SEC come to recruit me because I'm getting recruited by Alcorn, Jackson, Florida A&M, and all those. So there's a different mindset about football down the deep south than it is up here in the Northeast.
Can I say one thing to you that would help? Win, baby, win. Everywhere I've been, I look, Coach, at Lane College, man, they hadn't had a winning season 25 years. When I won, I started getting athletes. When I went to Texas Southern University, we were 0-44. Everybody said the same thing. But I sold myself in the university and made sure that they understand that they're going to one of the greatest schools in the country. I won. We filled the stadium, season tickets high. So I get it. In this sport, you got to win, man. You got to win. You got to win the people. You know what I'm saying? And you got to go out and touch them. But I get you. I understand, and you just got to run a first class program.
Because just like because there's a lot of terrific things going on, Mr. Campbell. I don't know how recently you've been up this way at Baltimore, but there's a lot of recent activity going on at Morgan State. I mean, a lot of beautiful buildings going up at Morgan. So
yeah.
So just from an academic side of it, Morgan has been growing leaps and bounds over the last 10 years, and they're still adding stuff. And you know, Morgan is one of the top engineering schools in the country. So I mean, they have a whole engineering department that's off campus that sits by itself.
Right.
So, but a lot of students, from what I've seen, just coaching there, that a lot of this what I want to say. For me, coaching there, Coach Cole and Coach Campbell, you'd be surprised how many kids look so positively outside of the Maryland, D.C. area about Morgan State than our own kids that live here.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say, Mr. Campbell?
Yeah.
That's why I say we need to better educate our young folk about our HBCUs, because I've had discussion with kids that live in Chicago, somewhere in the Midwest, a little bit far west, and they're in awe. They think highly of Morgan State. But then you may get kids right here in Baltimore, I guess you can say take it for granted or whatever, that may say, oh, it's just Morgan. You know what I'm saying? So I think we just need to change the mindset of the young folk when they come. I mean, we for instance, we forget about Maryland Eastern Shore.
You know, one of the things I was reading, one of the comments was said that it takes time to build a capacity out. But I'm just saying that we've been playing football for years. I've been around the conference of Black college football for 41. I'm saying put together a package, of all our classic games and go pitch it, get the best people that can go pitch it to one of these networks, that when they turn on that TV, they gonna see 40 to 50,000 fans like they see in the SEC, like they see it in these other conferences. You with me, Campbell?
Yeah.
Then we got folk there. You know what I mean? And folk is gonna be watching the games on there. We do our promotional right. And man, we good, man. And get them, 2, 3, 4, 500 million. What could 500 million do for us, Coach? $500 million, Coach.
Yeah. Morgan, what Coach
give me and
about.
the CI, huh?
Well, I'm just saying that's what Coach talked. They got that money from the state that was owed to them, and they're investing those resources to make it a great world-class campus. Hey, Coach Johnson, we appreciate you. We're gonna let you go because we're gonna shut this thing down. But we appreciate you joining us, okay?
No problem. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, thanks, Coach. All right, Coach, I tell you what, listen, around an hour, I tell you what, I'm going to say my last little bit, and Coach, I'm going to say it again and let you shut it down. But listen, hey, I want to thank everybody for joining HBCU Coaches Corner. Man, this has been an amazing year. Man, we have had some of the top coaches that have come on and made history and made news by coming on this show. We were the first one to let you know who a Tremaine Jackson was, and you got to find out what a great coach he was. We were one of the first people to let you know how great a Tennis Berry was. We were the first people to brought Quinn Gray on that kind of let you know, foreshadowing what the greatness was going to be with him. So, man, I want to thank Coach Cole and all the coaches that have come on HBCU Coaches Corner. I want to thank everybody that's watching it, man. And I'm going to say this, man. For this last part of the year, let's have a little bit of peace, Coach. You know what I'm saying, on social media. Let's just have a little bit of peace. Let's wish everybody well. Man, let's go into 2026 supporting our universities, because I tell you this, and I will say this. Hey, man, listen, if you got a little bit extra change, donate to your university. Guess what? If you make it real money, it's going to be a tax write-off. So all your universities looking for money. Hey, for the Rattlers, we got the Restore the Strike, man, among the other things we're raising money for. Give that money for Coach Quinn. So, Coach, I tell you what, I appreciate you for having me on, and, man, I look forward to a big, big 2026.
Yeah. Hey, man, I can't say enough, Steve, how you've added to our show, the value that you are, and I thank you. I thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life as well, and have a great year. To our Rocky that's not on today, man. I know you probably watching, man. Man, you the guy, man. You the guy, man. You the guy that will screw it up, but that's okay. That's why you got me and Coach Campbell right here, man. We love you. I love you and your wife. For our fans, man, we had 2 million views last year. Hopefully we going to count them up, and we kind of feel that we way above and way out in front of that. I can't say enough about the man upstairs who's been watching over my life, not only over my life, over my family's life. And it's been one heck of a year, And I salute you guys. If you hadn't subscribed. If you hadn't got our Instagrams and our information, do that. You can put a little change in there, to help us kind of move around and some of the things we gonna meet. But I guarantee you this. I don't put my mind into something and don't be the best of it. If we're not the best, we haven't got no awards yet, but we're working on them. And we're going to come back and be bigger, stronger, and better. And I thank you. And like I always say, man, don't get caught. If things are going wrong with you, man, God didn't make no jump. All right? Hang on to the end of the rope and tie a knot, because ain't nobody bad like you.
There it is. Have a happy New Year. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks,
Merry
Coach.
Christmas. Happy New Year.